Lawrence right here, a two-year starter for us. Brief summary of his career: played on one conference championship team, two region participants, both years. At one time during the season, ranked #1 in the country. A really hard-playing guy. I was telling somebody, I think it was a newspaper reporter from Oxford called me and said, "How would you describe Rod Lawrence's play?" I said, "The best description I can give of Rod is people that don't know much about basketball at all always walk away after the game saying, 'Boy, that kid plays hard.'" And I think that probably sums up pretty much his game. He has a knack for rebounding that other people don't have, that every coach wished that every player on their team had. But Rod was instrumental in us winning the league, along with a lot of other good players. But I remember the shot, that Dre shot. He and Billy brought us back in the game by hitting threes. And I remember the one he missed, and Rod got the rebound and got fouled, and we won the game. Probably won the conference championship, that game did, over there. Or it sure kept us in first at that particular point. Anyway, Rod's going to Ole Miss. You get to see him on TV a lot.
I was considering Rhode Island, Bradley, Creighton, Gonzaga for a second, and that's probably it that I had on my top 5.
And what made you pick Ole Miss?
When I went on my visit, they made me feel at home. They took care of my mom while we was out there, and I felt like it was my best opportunity that I had at the time. How to be a leader. I learned a lot from Coach Green, honestly. I feel like Coach Green taught me a lot throughout the 2 years that I've been here. I never really played a systematic game. In high school, we kind of just played, you catch the ball, you go shoot, you go score, or whatever. We never really ran plays, but here we had a bunch of different sets. And in those sets, we had different people who had the option to score, had the option to pass, and I learned more of a systematic game by coming here, and I learned how to play into I guess you could say a team up that goes through plays instead of a freestyle type of game.
When was it in being here in South Plains that you feel you hit that mature point and really developed your game and developed and grew as an individual?
I would say over the summer here, my summer session that I took here, being the fact that it wasn't too many people out here and I had a lot of time to think and focus. And Coach Hank and Coach Green always helped me in the gym during the summer, so I ain't gonna say I matured a lot, but I changed a whole lot during the summer last semester. I miss my team the most, though. I miss my teammates the most. They helped push me and made me the person that I am. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like without them, I probably wouldn't have made it as far as I did and learned as much as I did also.
The other one down here at the end, Michael Carina. We kept telling people all year long that we think he's going to be a really good player, and probably you've heard the expression that their best basketball is ahead of them, which is nothing that I ever really wanted to hear, but I wanted to hear his best basketball was being played right now. But in his particular case, it probably will be in the future. And so it's unbelievable how many people from probably February on started expressing interest in Mike. He had a bunch of visits. He could be visiting now till, oh my goodness, till probably the 1st of August if he had decided to go look at every school that expressed interest in him. But he took one and said, "I'm done, one and done." So he's going to Wright State, which is in Dayton, Ohio, and they had I think a pretty good team last year, and they convinced us and evidently him that he is the missing piece with what they have coming back next year. They think they can make a run at the NCAA tournament. So Mike started playing a lot for us, probably the last 6-7 games of the season. We put him in the lineup, and he responded very, very well. Had a really good game here against Odessa at home, and then was equally as effective in the national tournament.
Who else was fishing in that pot without giving anybody else another look?
I mean, there were schools in the nets throughout the season. The ones that I was going to visit was Pacific and Mercer. probably Mercer being the bigger one out of the three. But on my visit to Wright State, it reminded me the most of home. It seemed like a good atmosphere, one thing I was looking for. So I definitely picked it just because it made me feel like it was the best situation for me. Yeah, I definitely feel the first couple of games leading to it was a good start for me. And since then, just tried my best to get as many people interested as possible.
Coach Green mentioned with about 9 games left that you really kind of cleared the hurdle and you went from a guy that was seeing some sparing minutes to a guy that was a pretty heavy contributor. What do you attribute that change during the conference schedule? What do you think made the difference for you to get here?
I mean, some things didn't help to me to get to where I was to start with, but all I could have done was just keep a positive attitude towards it and just keep trying to work for minutes. Probably the biggest one is the one I struggled most with was the American style of playing. Coming from international, it's a lot more different compared to, I wasn't used to people coming to up as big as me, as athletic. Like most teams used to have 1, 2, 3 bigs, but over here every team's got a strong feel to it, so you've got to pretty much play your best. Had to learn a lot, had to be a lot more smarter on the court, so probably just smarter sense of the game is what I learned most about it, and having to work on to be the best at my position.
What are you going to miss the most?
Definitely the scenery.